So, what about that third eye? Questions about Dr. Valack tend to go in a couple of directions. Why would the Dread Doctors even want the third eye? Or what kind of Teen Wolf creature has a third eye like that? Let's look at what we know for sure. Valack encountered the Dread Doctors many years ago and then went to great lengths to figure out what they were doing and to try to stop them. He wrote that book that altered the reader's perception so that they could remember the Dreads. He also started doing Dread Doctor-like experiments on supernatural creatures, presumably to try and stop the return of the beast.
What I'm about to show you isn't supposed to exist. This is the only surviving evidence of Dr. Valack's time as chief medical officer of Eichen House. To call it human experimentation would be charitable. A Banshee. She died screaming.
So he drilled holes into their heads, all of them?
He did it to werewolves, banshees, wendigos, any creature he could get his hands on. Trepanation would initially heighten their powers, but to levels that couldn't be contained.
Valack was breaking creatures to see what made them tick, and at some point, before he got caught and incarcerated, he experimented on himself.
Just because you drilled a hole in your own head, it doesn't mean you've somehow gifted yourself with extrasensory perception.
Come a little closer. Take a look for yourself.
Oh, but Deaton was so very wrong about that, wasn't he?
That's it. Come and have a look. Come on.
Just one look into eyeball number 3, Deaton was in a fully immersive virtual vision of Tezcatlipoca's temple. How did Valack, an ultra-intelligent but otherwise normal human, manage to do all that? We know he was aware of the Dreads and their techniques, and that he had been doing similar experiments. It is only a tiny leap in logic to suggest that Valack, using Dread Doctor science, managed to gift himself an impressive form of ESP. He could not only sense the wider world, but also broadcast those senses to other brains directly and with some force. I still wonder what Peter saw. I like to imagine Valack put him into one of those mini romance novels he has stacked up in the cell. Anyway, in addition to the ESP, precognition, and remote viewing, Valack also managed to do the same type of glamour that Jennifer Blake had to kill a bunch of virgins to do.
Do you know what it takes to be able to look like this? To be able to look normal? It takes power.
And in Valack's case, he could still pull off this trick even after the third eye was gone.
Sorry, Lydia, but your treatment's not done.
As to why the Dreads went to great lengths to take that third eye, they were nearing their final success. Valack's extra eye gave him the ability to mentally travel and gather information from anywhere. They definitely didn't want someone who understood what they're up to also know everything else, like their location.
You don't have to.
Everything else Valack did in season 5 was about trying to find the Dread Doctors some other way. He tried one of their masks, also enhancing Lydia to the point where she'd be able to find the beast and its host. Presumably, he was doing all this in an effort to stop them.